Welcome back to the Oddcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ricky.
And we're just two odd dudes who decided to start a Batcast. Batman was on the mind.
Yeah, a podcast.
A podcast, yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about movies and our favorite movies, your favorite movies, the best movie of all time.
Series is?
Series is?
Is it the plural of series?
No,
just
series
is a plural.
Yeah, it'd be a series of movies. The
but
best
you can't
series.
say a series.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. And I'm sure we're going to disagree on a lot of things.
Probably.
And I'm sure we'll probably hear from Paul in the background because he likes movies or something.
Does he likes movies?
Yeah, he filmed Chuck Norris once.
I thought he was more of like a comic strip guy.
On his iPhone.
You know, like on the newspaper.
Yeah, he films that.
He films that.
Yeah, he turns those into movies.
And just one to the next?
Yeah, just
moves it. That makes sense.
Moves it as they go.
Maybe it's just a panorama.
He turns it into a stop motion.
Oh, that's very strange.
Yeah.
Especially because there's very few frames.
Yeah, it's taken him years to build anything that actually makes any sense.
Yeah.
But he's got 14 seconds of a movie at this point.
That's really cool. I'm impressed. I want to see it later.
Let's get to the Oddcast. So we're going to jump into this right away by talking about genres. And first, how do you say genre?
Genre.
Genre.
Like Jacques Cousteau.
So
Who is that, actually?
I have no idea. Well, I know that it is a person.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned about Jacques Cousteau at some point.
I know more about animals. I don't know about Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, okay. But definitely
you say
character. Genre the same way that you say Jacques.
Genre.
Yeah.
Not genre.
Genre.
Unless you got a little
yeah, like Parmesan.
Yeah, you had a little spice to it.
Yeah.
Genre.
Yeah.
Not a genre.
No, genre is too
That's how white
American.
people say it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how
not white people. Americans.
A specific portion of white people.
Because an Italian white person would probably go genre.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they would say exactly like that, but
no, I don't think they'd say it like that.
Yeah.
I'm saying like white South person. That's like doesn't say any accent. I got no accent, even though they're like everything they say is with an accent.
Yeah.
But they're like it's a genre.
Yeah.
That's genre.
Hey,
all right.
Genre.
Well, we asked what your favorite genre was, and some of you had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, some of you just answered and said your favorite movie.
Yeah, which that's cool. You should read the fine print of everything you've ever signed.
Or just the next word. It said, "What's your favorite movie genre?" I just said genre.
See, yeah.
I don't know.
White South person.
White person, yeah.
Genre. So let's see. Some people like thrillers, not the song, or horror. Adventure, lots of adventure and comedy.
Adventure, action, and comedy are easily the most common ones.
What other kind of movies are there?
There's romantic movies. There's horror movies.
Horror's in here a lot.
Thriller and horror are different.
Right. Or like suspense thriller.
Yeah, for sure.
Rom-coms is on here a couple times.
What would you say like a biographical movie would be? Is that its own genre?
This is a documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, but it you look at something. Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is.
You mean like a fake reenactment of a movie?
Right. Yeah, something like that.
I would just classify whatever it's being reenacted as. If it's not like trying to actually depict clearly what happened, but it's trying to movify or Hollywood it, then I think it's just like an action movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless it's like an actual documentary where they're having interviews with people and all that kind of stuff, then it's a documentary or docuseries.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
That's what I would say.
I agree with that.
Because then they start adding all this ridiculous stuff that you're like, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Right.
No, there's no way. And then you end up like, no, I'm not going to talk about it yet. Okay.
Whoa. Is that coming later?
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
We'll put a pin in it.
Boop. All right, let's go to the best movie of all time because that's what we're really here to talk about. Oh, wait, hang on. What's your favorite genre?
My favorite genre, I put action comedy, which is
the same thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You want them to like punch each other while laughing?
Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. Those are great.
So
my favorite movie, which we'll get to.
Yeah, action with comedic relief.
Yes. Yeah, primarily action.
Like their main thing isn't comedy, but there is a lot of it in there.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, correct.
I could see that, yeah.
Because primarily comedy, like a comedy-focused action movie, I don't know what that would turn out. What's a movie that's like that?
Hitch.
You say Hitch?
I think so.
Hitch is
That is not
That's a
an
rom-com.
action movie.
Is that a rom-com?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that would look like.
I don't know either.
I feel like it wouldn't. I feel like it. Oh, you know what? Which one I thought of?
What?
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tropic.
And
Thunder,
I don't think it was that good.
Yeah.
It
I thought it was all right.
It felt like it was like trying to be funny
I think
while
it was
trying
meta.
to throw action in there.
I really appreciated how meta it was.
No, I'm not that hip and cool.
You
I think it was
can't
dumb.
use the word. You can't appreciate meta-ness?
No.
All right, fine.
All I can think of is the old basketball
Paul gets
player
me.
that he changed his name to Meta World Peace.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I think the word's dumb.
Whatever happened with that guy? Is he still like a basketball player?
No. Well, no. He's still like around, floating around, but
Yeah, I feel like after
Meditating in
you
the
stop
life.
being like popular though, a name like that is kind of like if you don't walk into Starbucks and people know you, you're like, my name's Meta World Peace.
yeah.
Then it's like,
Like the artist
Cool.
Prince, when he became like the artist formerly known as Prince, and you're like, all right.
yeah.
Because he was a symbol, but you're like, can't say a symbol.
Mm.
You're like, he's.
Did he change his name? When did
Yeah.
that happen? I'm not up
he-
on the
well,
world
I mean,
of that.
he's dead now, but
Yeah, okay.
he changed his name to a symbol. And
Oh.
people can't say symbols. So then he was just the artist formerly known as Prince,
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
which
that's
was
a bummer.
unfortunate. But then he kind of went back to being called Prince because no one wanted to call someone the artist formerly known as Prince because that was way too long to say.
Right, because everybody's already had a name for him.
Yeah.
So he just had to go with it.
Be like, I'm going to start calling you the one I formerly knew as Alex. That's dumb.
Yeah. that
Just
is
be
dumb.
Alex.
I'll be Alex.
Or Xander.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the best movies of all time. Princess Bride. I'm going to read some of the best movies of all
Great.
time to you,
Yeah.
and you just tell me what you think of that movie.
Okay, yeah.
How's that sound?
Absolutely. So
Princess
Princess
Bride?
Bride's first? Yeah. Princess Bride is a fantastic answer to this.
Right.
I know everybody has different takes on what their favorite movie is, and I get that it's a subjective question, but Princess Bride is a phenomenal answer.
All right.
Great movie, classic, hilarious, and
1 out of
action.
10, what do you think?
Out of that one, I give that one a 10.
A 10?
I'd say if I had to own and watch only 20 movies for the rest of my life, it would probably be in the top 10 of those. Maybe top 15.
Wow. All right.
But if anything
That's
is
bold.
one of my top 20 movies, it's a 10. There's so many movies out there. If it's and especially because I like Marvel so much, so it's competing with all of Marvel. And I'm
Wow.
biased towards Marvel.
That I would not, I mean, it's a good movie. I don't know if I put it that high up, but all right. That's your rank. That's your rank.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Honestly, I forget which one that is.
I know it's not 4.
I think it's not 4?
No.
Is it
That's
5?
A New Hope.
Paul, what is it? It's 5. It's 5, so that's the one where he actually becomes a good Jedi?
That's the one where the Empire strikes
Oh, is that the
back.
one where he gets his hand cut off?
I don't remember
what happens in
5
that
and
one.
6, I've always watched in relation to each other, like
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So they kind of blur together.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. 'Cause
I think
know
5 is
6.
boring.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
6 is the one. 6 is the one a lot of people like because it was like the crescendo of that
Right.
era of that time of Star Wars. 4 is my favorite of them because it was like the most nostalgic. It was the start of it, and yeah, New Hope I thought was great.
Honestly,
Personal
growing up,
favorite.
the third one was my favorite. Revenge of the Sith.
Of the because of the lightsaber
Battle.
Yeah.
As a kid, I watched that. Literally, I would watch that movie 2-3 times a day. I've probably watched that movie more
That
than
means you watched like 8 hours of that movie.
Yeah. No,
That's a long time.
Listen, you think
What
I
did
can't
you
do
do?
something for 8 hours? Like it was a phase.
You mean like not school day?
No, like even school days sometimes. It was probably 2 on a school day, but
That's
sometimes
a lot.
3.
That's a lot.
Or
of
I would just
Jedi.
watch 2, and then I would watch the fight scene over and over again.
Yeah, the fight thing is great. I think that is the biggest miss of Star Wars, is as a franchise, and we'll talk about series later.
Yeah.
But it builds this entire world is built around this particular group of people.
Mm-hmm.
That their one main weapon that they have is a lightsaber. And then there's this opposing side to this group of people that has the same weapon, yet they never use them. It's like, I don't want to go onto it yet. We'll get to it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Okay. Avatar by James Cameron.
Good, not as hyped as it should have been. No, I mean overhyped.
Overhyped.
Overhyped. It was a fine movie. It was really impressive what they did.
It was amazing.
It was. I think.
I
It was
think
really
people hate
impressive.
this movie because it made so much money, and it became cool to hate this movie.
I don't listen. I don't hate the movie. I didn't even know that was a cool thing. I thought it's just a cult classic. But I thought it was a fine movie. I liked it.
Hit people try and not like Avatar because it's cool to not like Avatar.
Is it? Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just cool. I don't know.
It's like hipsters that don't go to Starbucks because it's cool to go to a place that not everyone else goes to because you're trendy.
you have to go to a local one.
Avatar, I thought overall was incredible what they did cinematography wise.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no,
The colors were just so much fun.
I'll absolutely give it that. It is one of the most beautiful. Wait, yeah, because you're colorblind.
Yeah,
I
see?
just caught that. But it is one of the most beautiful movies. Like, and the fact that it's all CGI'd is incredible. Like
Yeah.
that, it's a huge feat of cinema. And
They
I
did
respect
have
it for
huge
that.
feet. They were like
They
9
did.
foot
They were
tall.
huge feet. Yeah.
Okay, here's the real
hugest
question.
feet in cinema, I might say. No, probably not.
No, there's definitely bigger.
Like Iron
Would
Giant.
would you enter into the simulator?
No.
All right, there we go. We got to move
Maybe.
on because we got a lot of these.
Just be a missionary to the blue people.
To the blue people. That's kind of like what he was, but in a bad way.
Yeah.
He was like, let me corrupt your mind.
And then he got mind corrupted in a good way.
Yeah, amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Great movie.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Shawshank Redemption.
Also a great movie.
Sad movie.
I've seen, but great movie. Really, like what is the genre of that? That's kind of like one of the genres we didn't talk about. Is it
Yeah.
drama? Oh, drama,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Like it's depicting something that happened, but in a way that's dramified. So
Yeah, for sure.
B movie.
Honestly, I've never seen the B movie. I've just seen all the memes.
It's awful.
Is it?
The whole movie is the dumbest concept in the entire
Doesn't
world.
the bee fall in love with the human and vice versa?
They don't ever actually make it like clear. That's the illusion. Or that's what they allude to. The entire movie.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing in the entire world.
Yeah, but it's Nicolas Cage, so
It's
pretty great,
It's
right?
so dumb. It was so bad. That one's yours. Someone said Revenge of the Sith. Someone's on your page.
Oh.
Someone said Three Amigos.
Oh, I haven't seen Three Amigos.
It's pretty good.
I think you skipped one that I was interested in, which is, where was it? Oh, Count of Monte Cristo. Have you not seen this movie?
No.
This is a fantastic. Paul, have you seen Count of Monte Cristo?
I didn't
You
mean
guys
to skip
haven't
it either.
seen that movie?
No.
It is such a good movie. You need to watch it at some point.
All right, I'll get right on it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it right now.
All right, leave. We'll be back after a brief 2.5 hour break.
A brief 2.5 hour
Yeah.
message from our sponsors.
Yes.
We don't have any, so just sit here in silence.
It's got the guy who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. That's like the main character.
Yeah, I've already lost interest.
But it also has the guy who played Dumbledore,
Which one?
the first one.
Mm.
Wait. Yeah, the first one, I think.
Definitely
Maybe not.
lost
Maybe the
interest.
second one.
All right, we got to get through this because we got a lot to cover. So, Blades of Glory.
Wait, hold on. Real quick. Before we move off Count of Monte Cristo, I want to say this one thing. It would be in my top 20. That's a 10 rated movie for me. Okay. What'd you say? Blades of Glory?
Blades of Glory.
Such a stupid movie.
It's so funny.
It's funny. Like, I'll give it it's
So
funny,
funny.
but like
One of Will Ferrell's best. It's
It-
so good.
it is one of his best.
The fact
It's
that
just
they
so
the
stupid.
fact that they were able to keep straight faces during filming of that is a miraculous feat in and of itself, because it's just so dumb, but it's so
Yeah.
funny. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Listen, we talked about this beforehand. I know who you are who wrote it.
Yeah, the answer is you're wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong. That's not the best movie of all time. I get it. I like 100%. I get it. I loved Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I don't think he was a good Peter Parker, all that, but it was not a great movie. There were about 1,000 things going on during that movie because they were trying to set up the Sinister Six movie, and so they just introduced tons of villains.
Yeah,
And
it was
lost
like,
focus.
It was like a movie that they were just trying to fill time. They're like, well, we got a 3-movie contract.
Yeah.
We don't really know what we're going to do, so let's just throw some stuff in so later people will come back.
No, man. They knew what they were going to do for the third movie, and they wanted to add everything up to it, But then they had like 8 storylines going on.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't know what they were going to do in 2, but they're like, we want people to come back for 3, so let's just throw a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah,
that's what happens at Star Wars too.
Yeah, the suit was great though. One of the best Spider-Man suits.
What do you think about the Notebook?
I've seen it once. I don't get why everybody cried so much at it. Everybody was like, it's like the saddest, most sweetest romantic movie ever, and I was like, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's fine.
People love to be swept off their feet, Alex.
Yeah,
it's cute.
Yeah, but that dude's crazy.
Yeah, well,
what's his name? Ryan Gosling? Is that him?
Brian?
Is it Brian Gosling? No, it was Ryan Gosling, right? Yeah, in that movie,
it was Brian Gosling.
He threatens to kill himself if this lady doesn't go out with him. Like what is that?
Alex,
you just can't do that.
That's romantic.
That's not romantic. That's crazy. That's insane. The only reason she went out with him was because he was cute and crazy.
I mean, that's really the only reason you go with anyone, because they're cute the first time.
And crazy?
No, I mean, you don't know.
No, she had to know.
No, you don't.
He was hanging off of a Ferris wheel saying he was going to drop himself.
What if he was just kidding? What if he's just kidding? Then it's not crazy anymore. Now it's just a joke.
Super awkward because he has to get in the cart with the girl and the guy who was taking her out on a date that night and just sit there as it goes down.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be awkward. I'm just saying, man. Some people are into it.
Yeah.
Paul then wrote at the very end, Inception. Inception was a great movie.
Inception was a great movie.
Inception was a movie, though, that you have to be so focused on. You have to watch it multiple times because if you don't, you miss so much of what happened. You have to watch it multiple times. And as you watch it, more and more things become clear.
Yeah.
That you can't tell other people about. You just have to be like, you got to watch it again.
One of my favorite things about Inception is that, well, I guess you just said we're not supposed to tell people about it, but it's a podcast. We're going to talk to people about it. Say it. The deeper you get into like each dream, it's all playing the same movie score, but just slower the deeper you get into it.
And like louder.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like
kind of makes my mind hurt when you watch it.
It just makes me stressed out, which is good. You want like movies that can actually physically make you kind of like stress out, or like when somebody's struggling with something underwater in a movie and you sit there and like hold your breath.
You feel like you're about to drown.
Yeah, you're gonna die. Yeah. Like, well done, movie maker.
Yeah, well, I just love that. Like at the end of that movie, the way in which they ended it, like they are alluding the entire time to an ending.
Yeah,
that is trying to be obtained. Right. That's the entire premise of the movie.
Right.
And you get to the end, and the way in which they end it, it's debated what actually happened.
Right.
And everyone's like, no, this is what, like, no, it's very clearly debated.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. It's like they did it so well.
Yeah.
That even the ending kept people's minds just freaking out.
And Nolan loves to do that. Like,
yeah, he's great at it. He is the GOAT of that.
Yeah. Have you seen Memento?
No.
Memento, it's such a good movie. You should watch that one as well. So I guess I can't spoil any of it for you, but the entire time you're picking up clues as to what's happening, and then by the end of it, it like blows you away that this entire movie has unfolded the way it does. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, and Nolan is great at that. I think what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, I put Get Smart. I love Get Smart. It's like Steve Carell.
Oh, wait, hang on. What is the best movie of all time? That was a question.
The best movie of all time? Well, it's subjective.
You put for that.
Get Smart.
Get Smart. Okay.
Yeah.
You think that's the best movie of all time?
What do you mean by best movie of all time? I know I wrote it, but
I don't know. You wrote the question. It doesn't say your favorite movie. It says the best movie of all time.
I get it.
If you're gonna say it's the best movie, you got to bring out some big guns. If you're going with a Steve Carell
action comedy,
not even his best movie.
What is his best movie?
I don't know, but it's not Get Smart.
You see, you don't even know.
Because I'm not a Steve Carell fan like you
best
are.
is a subjective statement. It's just based.
But you got to make the argument for it.
Okay.
Good. No. You got to be like, it's not just what's best to me. If you say this is the best movie of all time, then you got to be able to be like, here's why. Here's the facts, bro, and then lay it out. So you got to lay it out first round. I think I've only seen Get Smart once, so I don't really have an opinion on it.
It
was funny.
Great. It's hilarious. It's got The Rock. It's got.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
it's on equal par with the Fast and the Furious series.
No, pretty much, yeah.
They've got The Rock more than you do, so
But
he
we
runs
have,
that
We have
series.
The Rock more exclusively. It's you get all of the funny Rock in one movie as opposed to multiple. Concentrated Rock.
I don't think that's more exclusively though. They have him more exclusively because he was like running the series.
All right. How about this? You got an old guy who tackles another old guy, and an old guy who almost gets stabbed in the head by a swordfish.
Oh, so
What other movie have you seen that? Huh?
Star Wars.
That's not a sword. Is that happening?
Yeah, the Jedis are all old, man. They're all pushing each other over.
No.
Yoda's like,
Yeah. Is Yoda actually that old though?
yeah, he's like 900.
How long does his species live?
I don't know, really
Like,
long
what if they
time.
live to be like 2,000? He's
I think he
middle-aged.
lives over 1,000.
He was 900.
900. Yeah,
Yeah.
but if they die at like 120 or like
No, he
1,200,
was old when
Yeah,
he's
okay.
still fighting.
He's
He's
still-
got his little.
he got his
He's
cane.
got a little cane. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
What do you
smart.
think? What do you think is the best movie?
The best movie of all time. I would make a really hard argument that The Dark Knight is one of, if not the best movie of all time. I think it's that or Inception. Like,
Really? So Christopher Nolan is your
yeah,
guy.
I think he is one of the best to ever bring film to the theater, and the way in which he can just trick the mind of a person. Like, I'm a person that wants to try and figure out what's happening, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And we watch murder mystery shows and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out before everyone else in the room knows. I'm being like, I want to know who the guy is.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know definitively. I want to have an idea that it's that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing Clue as
Right.
everyone else is watching a movie or TV show. What I love about Christopher Nolan is even those people that are really good at it, and there's always going to be the people like, oh, I figured it out beforehand. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You did not figure out Inception before you finished watching it. No one did. Right? You didn't figure out The Dark Knight. Like, the way in which he did that, that's another one of those movies that if you keep watching it, it is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The little details that he puts in there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I've probably watched The Dark Knight over 100 times.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Wow. I did not know that you'd watch it that many times.
Yeah, I used to watch when I was in college. I watched that trilogy over and over and over and over again.
It's a really good trilogy.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
we'll talk about that next, but I think it's the best trilogy of all time,
Whoa.
or the best series of movies.
You mean the best movie of all time? Dark Knight specifically.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the three I think is the best series of movies of all time.
Okay, we're getting to that next.
I know, but I'm just saying it because I'm
All right, it's
passionate
a
about
sneak
it.
peek. It was a sneak peek.
But The Dark Knight, I think, is, and everyone will say like, or a lot of people will talk about how the Heath Ledger aspect of it overhyped it or changed what people's perception of it, which is true. It's a part of it. But every part of that movie was so well done, and every character was so invested in the character that I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
All right. I'm going to agree with you. I agree it's a fantastic movie, but you didn't build a case. You just said there were a lot of little things in the movie.
There are a lot of little things, but you didn't build a case either. You said old
That's
men.
what I'm saying,
said
because you
old
told me
men
I need to
fighting.
build a case, and I was
I
like,
think-
I'm going to try and build a
I
case,
think
but it's all
Batman-
subjective.
I think Batman, the Christian Bale Batman is the best Batman.
Okay.
The voice part I can do without. He doesn't have to do the whoosh, that.
Yeah.
That's bad. The way in which they portrayed him and his struggle, phenomenal. His character development as he
Oh, yeah.
moves with Alfred as his like almost pseudo sidekick,
Yeah.
amazing. The way in which they brought in the Joker, and he is this character that nobody likes, but everybody wants a piece of. You almost find yourself, if you're really watching that movie over and over again, there's parts where you find yourself rooting for the Joker, and you don't realize why. But you're like, Batman's trying to beat this guy up and defeat him. He's an awful person, but then he's also taking money from the mob. He's
Right.
working with them, but then stealing from them. Like, he is the epitome of chaos.
Right.
And it is honestly the little things that I think changed that movie, where you have the scene where he's putting his head out of the police car and his hair
Yeah.
is stringy, and he's just, and the detail and the planning that starts to unfold, and it just, all of it culminates into this movie that there was a lot I didn't see coming. There was a lot of a small attention to detail. And the arc of the characters, the way in which they develop is like next level.
Right.
I think that's what I love most about it is it's not, oh, you're watching this guy develop and you're watching, Batman develop over 3 movies. Batman developed so much in that one movie.
Right.
But then also developed over the series that I think that it by itself could stand alone as the best movie of all time, but it's just one of a great movie in a series of great movies.
Right. I would agree. I mean, I agree that like it is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and it would be in that top 20 that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And even with the Joker, what you were saying about him, being chaotic, it's actually they did a fantastic job of matching what he was always supposed to be, which is just chaos. Like he never had
what
any
he says he
specific
is.
motive or like any specific like system to why he does things. He was chaotic. He was what's the word? Oh, I don't know what it is.
He was very unpredictable.
Yeah, he didn't stick to any sort of system, and the only thing that has ever been constant in the Joker story has always been Batman.
Yeah,
It's always been him wanting to be chaotic, knowing Batman will try and stop him.
Well, and one of the things that Heath Ledger did so well, the little nuanced movements, like, and I know I go back to little things, but like, he's got the knife that comes out of the front of the shoe, and he does this like little tap dance thing, and his whole persona, obviously this became a problem for him. His whole persona was so wrapped up in the idea and the character of the Joker. It was no longer just Batman versus the Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker became a symbol of chaos and a change to the norm. And that movie is so heavy, yet it's so quotable.
Yeah.
Like most movies that you quote are fun, kind of just like, it's a quick quip.
Yeah.
That movie is heavy. 98% of the movie. Yeah, I still find myself quoting it.
Yeah, like the quote at the end, like he was not the hero that we deserved, but the one that we needed.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I love using that quote, even as a joke. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole series, like especially The Dark Knight Returns, that one I feel like is the most quotable.
Yeah, there's
all the Bane stuff.
Yeah, the Bane stuff. But that's again, like people quote that more jokingly, right?
Yeah.
But like want to know where I get these scars and just all those type of things culminate into this movie that I could just watch over and over and over again. If I could only watch one movie ever, I'd be okay with that one. I'd also be okay with Inception, but I'd want another Inception movie because there's just more that I think needs to be fleshed out in the Inception realm.
Inception 2?
Oh yeah, I think it'd be so cool.
But what would they do? Because like the
You'd
whole
go
point,
back.
like you
You'd
said,
have to go back.
the whole point of that story was. Oh, so would you go back to him and his wife's story?
Yeah, you'd have to go back into the building of the Inception realm. Yeah, I think it'd be phenomenal.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be a prequel, really. I think it'd be so much fun to really show how the whole idea got built. In some ways, we'd have to get inside Christopher Nolan's mind to go, how did you think
Yeah,
this
and
up?
he would never do it, I feel like.
No, because that
he's
would-
never done any sort of triple, double movie, except for The Dark Knight.
Yeah, well, and also, the thing with Nolan is he doesn't let you behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like, he is very, very good at making you feel like, I want a little bit more.
Yeah, he doesn't share anything either. He's like, you have to figure it out based on... Like, everything to figure it out is in the movie.
Yeah,
Is always his thing.
Like the totem? They call it totem, right? That whole thing.
Yeah.
At the end, I'm not going to spoil it. He's been silent. And you're like, just tell us what happened. Like, tell us... Give us a definitive answer. And like they've asked him in interviews and he just laughs.
Yeah.
He knows like this is the point of the movie.
Right.
He wants people to wrestle with it. And I think that was what was great about the Dark Knight is you are wrestling with the way in which they built up the 2 boats.
Oh yeah, the 2 boats thing was amazing.
And my theory is they had the device that they had was going to blow themselves up.
Yeah, but we don't know.
But I think that's the chaos of the Joker, right? It'll blow themselves up. And then what will happen is because the way in which he portrayed it to everyone and it's out into the world of like, you can blow up the other boat, then everybody's going to think the other boat blew up the other one, but they blew themselves up.
And whoever's holding the switch inside the thing.
Yeah. So then if right boat does the switch and blows up right boat, everyone's going to blame everyone on the left boat.
Yeah.
And they're like, we didn't do it. And it causes more chaos. It's the perfect geniusness of what the Joker character is.
And honestly, that actually perfectly matches what happened. We're spoiling this movie, right? Because it's been
I
out.
mean,
That perfectly matches what happens with Harvey Dent and Rachel as well.
exactly.
Because Batman goes to save Rachel, but then
he
ends up at Harvey Dent.
Exactly.
And then Rachel dies.
Exactly, though. It's the chaos that is. Here's what's crazy about it. Here's what's crazy. It's if you're watching the movie, it's a predictable chaos that you continuously don't see coming. If you watch it, I've watched the movie 100 times, right?
Wait. It's a predictable chaos, meaning like after looking back at it, you're like, oh, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, but
Got it.
that's the beauty of this movie. Even if you watch it a couple times, people don't think that deep into the aspect of the Harvey Dent and Rachel thing. They're like, oh, he just showed up. You're like, no, he gives them the coordinates, and Batman shows up, and it's Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And you watch, like, if you watch the nuances of the scene,
Yeah.
he opens the door, and there is a look of disappointment on Christian Bale's face.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Right? Like, it's predictable. It's predictable in the fact that you know that the Joker is never just going to give you a piece of information. There's always a string attached.
Right.
Yet they continue to believe it. And so do you as the watcher. You're like, oh, he's going to save Rachel. And you get there and you're like, what?
Yeah, I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody recently who just rewatched that movie for, well, was it?
It was Paul and Emily.
It was Paul and Emily, yeah. And Emily just realized that they said Rachel. Like, that he said he was going to go save Rachel and then ends up saving Harvey Dent. And I was like, wow, like that changes that whole scene for you. If you didn't know that before, that makes that entire thing way different.
Right.
And I actually am totally on board with your idea about the two boats idea.
Yeah.
I think it makes total sense.
And like nobody talks about that. But I'm like,
That's a great theory.
It's not that I think it's genius, like that I'm genius. I honestly think that is what the idea of that point, or the point of that whole thing was. And I think it's genius.
Yeah.
I think it's absolute genius.
Well, it is interesting that since you've watched it so many times, you can kind of think, what would the Joker have done in this situation?
Yeah.
And then use it to assess something that you never had any proof for whether or not it would have happened.
Right. Well, that's like if you watch through, I don't know if it was Screen Rants or Screen Junkies or one of those guys. They talk about all the different things that in that movie that you don't catch, or like were off script type things. One that I love that I didn't know, and that makes so much more sense, when the Joker's wearing the nurse outfit, and he's walking out of the hospital that he just is blowing up, right? And it blows up, and it stops.
Oh yeah.
And he turns around and looks, and he taps the detonator,
right?
And it blows up, and he jumps. That was a malfunction.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't supposed to happen.
That's one of the best parts.
He kept playing it.
Yeah.
And like his jump and everything was so like believable because it was genuine.
Yeah.
But the one that they brought up that I never noticed, and I literally rewatched and slowed down. I played the whole, like this part in slow-mo.
Really? Okay.
Is the part where right before that, where Joker is with Harvey Dent and Harvey's in the hospital in the bed. And the Joker's, talking about chaos. And he's like, the funny thing about this is, the whole spiel, right?
Yeah.
If I go and kill a gang member, it's fine. I go and kill this person, everybody loses their mind. And it's the point in the movie for me where you're going, he's right. Like, this guy is literally insane.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
And it kind of freaks you out and mind trips you a little. But he points the gun at his own head, and he gives Harvey, basically gives him the trigger, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't realize, if you just watch it, the subtlety of that clip, he's holding the hammer to the gun. It's a revolver.
Yeah.
So if he pulls the trigger, the hammer's not going to hit. So it's not going to shoot the gun. So he's literally holding on to it, holding the part that needs to click forward for the gun to go.
I never noticed that. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
So he knew for sure that he wouldn't die.
There's no way he was going to die.
Wow.
It's controlled, predictable chaos.
Interesting.
He knows it. It's so, if you watch this movie as much as I have and you realize these things, you watch all, like, it's crazy that there's so much attention to detail
Yeah.
that the end of that movie is the hero isn't even the hero.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the best part at the end that like really sold me on that Batman
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that he was like, make me the villain.
Yeah, I will be what the
Yeah.
people need.
Yeah. Which is a very heroic move.
Right, it's the actual hero.
I don't need any of the credibility. I don't need any of the fame or people liking me. I need people to be safe and moving towards being safer.
That's why my argument of Batman is the best superhero of all time. One, he does everything else a superhero does without actual superpowers. Then everyone will be like Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he does that. And they're like, oh, in the new ones, he does some stuff. I don't want to spoil that one.
I feel like if you haven't seen Endgame yet.
So they're like, oh, he sacrificed himself. I'm like, Batman was doing that the entire series. That's the whole point. He is constantly sacrificing himself. Like he did that in movie 2. He didn't just sacrifice his life because, again, that still becomes a pride thing that everyone loves Iron Man because he sacrificed himself.
Right.
Batman literally became the thing that everyone hated while he was the only one doing the thing that everyone needed to be doing, which was the honest, truthful, right thing.
Right.
He's amazing, and he keeps doing the right thing.
So you're saying he is the best and most heroic movie,
he's the actual
movie hero.
the real, only actual hero of superhero movies. All of the other ones are, you watch them, it's just pridefulness.
What? No, hold on a second. We cannot say it's just pridefulness.
Yeah, it is.
No, take somebody like Spider-Man. Spider-Man intentionally does not show his face because he doesn't want people to know. He's like if you know the comics too, that's the only reason Civil War happens in anything.
He intentionally doesn't show his face. It's not so that he is not prideful. It's so to protect his family.
Yeah, and he doesn't care about
That's
the
the
fame.
main reason. I'm not saying that protecting his family is prideful, but the aspect of all of these people is there is a pridefulness that comes about it. That's what their inner struggle in almost every single superhero movie. Why they are so predictable is because their inner struggle is their own self.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Okay, let's go to Infinity War.
Okay, yeah.
We could have beat Thanos.
Oh, yeah. But
Why didn't we?
because Thor wanted to have a moment with him.
No, not Thor.
What? Yeah. Infinity War, that's
no,
why. Oh, 2 times.
Yeah.
Thor, that Thor thing happened too.
Yes,
but
you're
also
right.
Chris
I'm
Pratt.
alluding to the other one. Yeah, Chris
or
Pratt.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
What's his real Peter Quill. Yeah.
Chris Pratt playing Peter Quill, playing Star-Lord.
Exactly.
Playing
the guy who let Thanos go
Pride.
because he was...
right? Iron Man.
Was it pride? I think that was him being upset about his girlfriend being killed.
It was pride. He could not see past his own issues. That's a pridefulness thing. Iron Man is literally just leans into his arrogant pridefulness. It's what he's known for.
Is it because he says, I am Iron Man?
No, I mean, that's one part of it. But
the end.
it's like, yeah, that is at
That's
the end.
Endgame.
Like, but the entirety of it, Thor comes in and it's like, I am a god, and you like all this aspects and the way and even just which they introduce themselves is like, I am the superhero that will be here to save you. Worship me and give me the praise.
Listen,
and Batman's like, I'm gonna hide in a cave.
But that's why Infinity
He's a
War.
bat. No one likes bats.
Okay, well, hold on. But that's why Infinity War and Endgame were so good because of how prideful they were in Infinity War, and how much it just royally screwed them over.
I 100% agree. It's what made a really good movie.
Yeah.
Because it turned the pridefulness of all the series, whatever you call
Series.
them.
The whole series.
Well, I think it's multiple series. I don't think it's one
The
series.
whole cinematic
The whole universe. It turned it on its head.
Yeah.
And it made it into the ending, right? But that's my whole point.
Yeah.
They had to turn it on its head to make the end of a movie because they're like, okay, all these guys can't just keep being prideful. Batman does that in movie 2 of 3. He's like, I'll be the bad guy. It's fine. I know I'm not, but that's what the people need. I'll be it. Best hero.
It's pretty selfless.
He's the only actual hero in the middle of his
He's not
movies.
the only actual
In
hero.
the middle of
He's
his
just-
movies,
He's
he's the
just
only-
the least prideful hero.
Every other superhero movie, the climactic point is where the superhero decides, I've been wrong during this time. Now I'm going to change and be better, and I'm actually going to be the hero that the people need me to be. And Batman is the only one that's like, I am the hero that people need me to be, but right now they need me to be something else for the betterment of them. So he becomes that.
What happens in Batman Begins? I haven't seen Batman Begins in a while.
Batman Begins, we got to get
Because
off this.
I agree with you that there is like in pretty much every hero movie, there's like
it's the same plot
line. You look at Doctor Strange, it's proud, humbled, better hero afterwards.
Exactly. That's the plot line of a superhero movie.
That doesn't happen in Batman Begins?
Batman Begins, he loses his parents. He's
he's lonely and sad the whole time.
Yeah, he's lonely and sad, and he he has all this fortune, but he goes and he like finds himself. But the place that he's trained up and where he finds himself, he like refuses to kill a guy. You remember this part?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, right, the end of your training is like, take this katana and chop this guy's heads off. And he's like, this is wrong. So then he fights against that at the very start.
Yeah.
And because of that, his trainer ends up trying to kill him. And he saves his trainer that tried to kill him.
Actually, that's actually really great too, because
he's the only hero that would do that.
Bruce Wayne as his like alter ego is such a prideful alter ego too.
Yes.
And so it completely contrasts who he is.
But as Batman, he's not that.
Yeah. It's who he is really.
It's incredible. And they play that out. They don't play it out as well in the first one. But in the next two, he plays into the like egotistical rich guy.
Yeah.
But then like and they look into that, and they're in 2 there's the guy that's working for the company that's trying to look into it, and he's gonna be like he's gonna prove him like he's gonna get his money from Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman's character is like, you think the super rich Bruce Wayne is out fighting crime at nighttime? Okay.
Yeah.
Even though the guy's like 100% right and
Yeah.
is the one that actually knows. And then Bruce Wayne, the egotistical guy, is the one that goes and crashes his really expensive Lamborghini
Yep.
to save that guy's life.
Yep. And it's great. And he
Selfless.
plays it off so well. And he's always like, I was just trying to catch the light.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, have you watched he's like, should I go to the hospital? And he's like, have you watched the news? He's like, no. All right. So anyways, I've fangirled enough over this.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
to
this
answer
has
the
quickly
last
become
question-
a Dark Knight episode.
Yeah. To answer the last question, what's the best movie series of all time? Okay, well, mine is obvious. It's the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Yeah.
And when we were defining series, we didn't define it well here. If we were to go through Marvel MCU, each one of those subsects of
Right. So
things
like
is a series.
Iron Man is a series, Captain America is a series, Spider-Man's a series,
Right.
but you can't just say Marvel
Universe
is
is not a series. Even though they do tie them all in together,
yeah, for
they're
sure.
all different series. So like Iron Man would be a series.
Right.
Avengers is a series.
But I would say it is valid to say that like the Iron Man series is good and take into account things that have happened in other Marvel because of how it ties
they
in.
overlap.
Yeah.
But I would say the Iron Man series is the series.
Now,
that has
would
overlap.
you consider Avengers as an Iron Man movie as well? Because Iron Man is in it, so the character's
Yeah,
in it.
I
So
don't-
would you count that series as part of the Iron Man series?
I don't think it's part of the Iron Man series. The Iron Man series is the ones that are very specifically Iron Man, right? That would be a part of the Avengers series. Because that's why Avengers 1 and they like
No,
or,
yeah. No,
you know,
I get what you're saying, but to me, I'm thinking
there's clear overlap.
because it follows the storyline of a certain person as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think those movies could hop in and out of series.
I don't
So,
think
like,
they're a part of
Captain
the
America:
series.
Civil War is a Captain America series movie, but it's just as much about Iron Man as it is about Captain America.
Right. I don't think it's a part of the series though. I think it gives us insight into the series. So it gives us backstory, but it is not necessarily part of the series. So like I would say this, switching topics. Rogue One.
Yeah.
It is not a part of the Star Wars series. It gives us insight. It's an offshoot side story. It gives us insight into the series of what's going on, but I wouldn't say it's a part of the main Star Wars series.
I get what you're saying, but Rogue One is a whole bunch of new characters. It's characters that are not main characters from the normal Star Wars series. Whereas, like, you look at Captain America: Civil War, and
But that's a Captain America movie.
It's
Yeah.
a Captain America movie, but it follows Iron Man just as much as any other Iron Man movie would. And
Right.
understanding Iron Man's story, you must watch that.
Right, but I would say that is a part of the Captain America series. Just if you hold to the plain understanding of that's why it's a Captain America movie.
No, yeah, I get by the name, but I think by the content of the actual movie,
Then you'd have to call the whole thing one series.
no, I wouldn't, because I would say the Iron Man series would be all the Iron Man movies, anything that follows Iron Man's story. So it'd be Iron Man movies, Avengers movies, Captain America, Civil War. It wouldn't be like
So you'd say
Captain
like,
America First Avenger.
Guardian of the Galaxies isn't part of it.
Yeah.
So they basically what you're saying is they all have their series, but all of them bring in anything that is Avengers-esque.
Yeah, anything that follows their story. Like, I wouldn't say that, like, a brief cameo in Spider-Man counts as it being an Iron Man movie.
Right.
But I'd say, like, if it is following Iron Man's story or if it's following whoever's story, I think it counts as part of their series.
I think it's more like a web. You put the Avengers things in the center, right? The
Yeah.
main Avengers movies, and then you have the web of like this is their series, and there's like it's almost like there's a connection point to all the big stuff happening,
Right.
But here's the series. I would say I just wouldn't put it as a part of the series, but I would say there's really helpful information to the series. So it's a part of the information, but the series in and of itself, like the Iron Man series, is 1, 2, and 3. Because if I'm talking about the Iron Man movies, I'm not talking about Avengers. I'm talking about the Iron Man movies, and we'd be like, 1 was great. 2, okay. 3,
Not great.
Who cares,
Yeah.
right? Like, but so if I'm talking about the Iron Man series, I'm not going to talk about how great he is and the fact that Avengers is only able to happen because of who Robert Downey Jr. is as Iron Man. When I'm talking about the series, I'm saying those 3 movies, those offshoots that is compact into that. That's why I'm like the Hulk series,
There is no Hulk series.
right? Like the
In that case.
right? In that
There's a Hulk movie.
exactly, and it is what it is. We don't really need a
Not
Hulk
great.
movie.
Not good.
I don't know what it is.
Hulk
about-
was way better after that movie.
I don't know what it is about Hulk when they're like, let's do a Hulk movie. It's just like everything implodes within the movie scene, and you're like, how do we not know how to just make this guy
Listen, here's
green
a problem
and make him a movie?
with Hulk as a movie is the
He's
way
too big.
He's too big. You can't catch him in the camera. You can't see him all. No,
Bruce, stop moving.
but the problem with Hulk is Hulk, in and of himself, until the whole Smart Hulk thing, is dumb. Like, and everybody
Smart
wants to
Hulk.
see. You know the Smart Hulk thing? That's what it's called. It's called Smart
I
Hulk.
know. It just adds just a weird element to the entire thing.
Oh yeah. Well, so like that's part of the problem is
Hulk
everybody
smash.
wants to see Bruce Banner as the Hulk. They don't care as much about him as just a person. Let's
Right,
be
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Like that's why in Thor Ragnarok he's Hulk almost the entire. No, I guess not the entire time, but he's Hulk for
Most of it.
Most of the time, and it's just because dumb Hulk is funny.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
wanted to see that,
Right.
and it's funny to see him like destroy stuff. That's what Hulk is.
Right.
And so trying to build an entire series off somebody who has like 4 words of dialogue,
It's not easy.
it's not easy. It would be a bad series.
When you get like this weird like love interest thing with him and Black Widow, and you're
Yeah.
like, are they friends? Like,
and it never comes to fruition.
No.
Because she dies.
sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
So, anyways, that was a long rant.
Mm-hmm.
Moving back, my favorite series of movies, because we wouldn't count MCU as a series.
Right.
There's a bunch of series within it, so you'd have to choose which one you're saying. However you classify that, you'd have to choose one. Mine is not outside of that. It's the Nolan Dark Knight.
Yeah.
However, Lord of the Rings is a close second, because I think Lord of the Rings was really well done, way ahead of its time.
Right.
If there became a series of Inceptions movies. At this point, if today we left this podcast and I
Yeah.
found out there was a trailer for Inception 2, it could very well already top the Batman series, because
Wow.
I'd be so excited,
Yeah.
because I think if Christopher Nolan was doing it again, I just have so much faith in him that I'd be like, it's gonna be great. It's just gonna be phenomenal. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I bet he really appreciates
The
that.
first time I watched Inception, I was sick, so I was high on cold medicine,
Yeah.
like NyQuil stuff, like trying to stay awake.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Blew your mind.
it was terrifying.
Oh,
like
really?
when the earth, because when you have a head cold and
Yeah.
you're like already kind of dizzy,
Yeah.
and I'm watching on this giant TV that I was probably sitting way too close to, when the earth starts to like bend,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I thought the world was ending. I still remember I was in high school going like, it was not fun. What's your favorite series?
Get Smart.
He's like, I watched it so many times that it became a series. You watched it in reverse, so then it was a different.
Exactly.
Get
different
Smart too.
impact. It's a way different story of reverse. Oh my goodness.
Smart Get.
Smart Get. Yeah. I honestly, I don't think I could say one of the Marvel series, because honestly, the Marvel like just following an individual person, the series aren't that great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Man, fantastic character.
You need all of it.
great within the entire universe, but Iron Man 2 and 3 not good.
Yeah.
Thor 1 was all right. Thor 2 meh. Actually, Thor 2 it was terrible.
Thor 2. This sounds
It
like
was
you're saying
so bad.
Tortuga.
Thor 2, yeah.
Thor 2, terrible.
Thor 2 was terrible. But
Yeah.
Thor 3, fantastic, right? So, like, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy has been pretty solid so far, but we'll see where they go with that one.
Yeah.
I
So-
feel like that one's on its way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. I think Marvel is kind of, unless something crazy happens, and I know there's been a lot going on in the side areas that they're trying to rebuild what's going to happen next. I'm worried for the next phase. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to hear how I'm excited about it?
I know you're excited about it.
All right.
I'm not saying I'm not excited. I'm just saying I'm worried.
Yeah, it could go terrible.
I feel like we're at a fork in the road, and we
Yeah.
can keep going up and be real good, or it's going to hit like the dumpster fire starts.
I think we will go down if they keep trying to preserve everything that's already happened.
Oh, they are.
Like,
That's a problem.
Which is going to be the because they have to let go and move on with new characters and stuff
Right.
like that.
But the cash cow, man.
it's Iron Man.
The cash cow.
Yeah.
I did see there was a clip between Joe Rogan and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan was making a pitch of how Iron Man could come back to life.
Oh,
and
yeah?
he could be Iron Man again. And it was so funny. I was dying laughing. Anyways, one of the other ones on here, we've already said all of the ones on here that people commented.
Except Harry Potter. Somebody had
And
to
that's
say
what I was
Harry
going to say.
Potter.
Was
yeah.
That's the one we missed is Harry Potter. As a series, as a whole,
Yeah.
there's some movies, why I don't have it as my top.
Mm-hmm.
There's some movies that they're good, but I could go without them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. The character development, phenomenal,
Right.
amazing. But at the same time, I knock it down because I grew up with those characters. I grew up watching the movies and aged as they aged
Yeah,
and these type of
right.
things. But man, 4,
Oh, 4 through the end, I feel like.
yeah, they made a change at 4
Yeah.
that just I could watch like 4 to the end. I could watch over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I
So
really
good.
liked 3 too. But like it wasn't quite the same. Like
Right.
but it was like we were starting to introduce dark themes like the Dementors.
Yeah, it was getting there,
Yeah.
but 4 was where it was like, oh, this is dark.
Yeah.
And even just the way in like they did like the name like pops on the screen at the start, and it's like the Harry Potter this one, and each one is progressively getting darker.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It is really good.
Not as good as Batman though.
That series is one I grew up kind of watching as well. And actually I remember because I was younger, obviously I wasn't growing up with the characters.
Right.
I was a few years under that. And I remember when 3 came out, I started watching 3, but I was probably like 4 years younger than Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And those
little
Dementors
scary.
freaked me out. And so
Yeah.
I didn't watch it for another like 3 years. And then
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, okay, we're good. We can move on to the next
And I read
one.
the books as you went, and it's a really, really good series.
Actually, that's one of the reasons that like I wouldn't, if I had to keep like those 20 movies, I wouldn't put the Harry Potter movies in there because 1,
you have the books.
there's way too many, and 2, after reading the books, I was blown away at all the things that like I missed,
Right.
that's missed by the movies.
But
And
the
they're
movies
so good.
do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean they're
You know,
working
there's-
with so much limited time.
Yeah,
you know?
and there's so many things of like that you just can't bring out.
yeah,
Like the nuances of the Elder Wand and
Oh my
the
gosh, yeah.
Deathly Hallows and these type of things. You just can't bring out in the movies well without
yeah,
spending forever on a backstory. And then if you spend forever on the backstory, you get episode 8 of Star Wars, and you're like, why were we here? What
Yeah.
were we watching?
Yeah.
Like, we just watched a bunch of failed plans.
yep,
I feel like we were watching the pitch meeting of the Star Wars of what they were trying to do for episode 8. They're like, okay, here's all the ideas. Oh, none of them worked.
yeah,
All right, let's call that a wrap. See you guys at episode 9.
yeah. It was a rough time.
Yeah. And then
Episode 8 was so rough.
and then we can go to episode 9 and we go like this.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you do
Yeah.
the shrug. Yeah,
A little shoulder shrug. All right, that's all I have. I'm out of breath because I've been ranty.
Yeah.
Odd rants.
is it gonna be our offshoot podcast?
Screen.
We're gonna start we gotta start a
past rants.
Patreon, and we're gonna have our odd rants on there. Yeah,
Yeah,
You would pay us money to-
Nobody would want to hear that. Paul also said that he enjoys the 007 series.
really? I honestly,
The Daniel Craig ones? Yeah.
I stopped watching them after like the first one.
They're so good.
They're pretty good.
I
Anything else? Did you say your favorite series?
no.
What's your
I've
favorite
just
series?
I've just actively abstained from saying.
What is it?
I don't really have one. Like I think if I had to say one, it'd probably be Lord of the Rings. I really like the Lord of the Rings. I don't watch them all that often because whenever I watch them,
Who's
I
your
have to
favorite
watch
character?
all three. In Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Gimli.
You're an elf. Or an elf.
A dwarf guy.
A dwarf guy.
Yeah. He's just so great. He's
Let
like
me
the
ask you this.
What?
If you had to choose one of them to be one of them because of their weapon, which one are you choosing? Is it Gimli still? You a battle axe guy?
Oh, because of their weapon?
Yeah.
Would I be as good with the weapons?
Yeah, you become
Definitely Legolas. Oh my
Legolas?
gosh.
You want the arrow skills.
Well, he's got like arrow skills, sword skills, mostly arrow skills and knife skills, but
Right.
he's just so
He has sword skills.
He's
not
elegant.
the sword skill guy. That's
Yeah.
Aragorn.
yeah.
I'd be him.
He's cool,
I love
but I would
swordsman.
totally choose Legolas because Legolas is good in close combat. Like one, he's a main character, so he can't die. Let's be real.
Sure.
But he's close combat and far combat. He's got it all.
Yeah, his
he's
arrow
got
skills
gray
are
hair.
hilarious. He does have gray hair.
Yeah.
Weird when I found out that was Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, I
Did
know.
that makes sense.
No, you know what was weird? The Hobbit movies. How he looked the exact same, but he
I
was
didn't
way
watch those.
older. Oh,
They
well,
weren't
there was that
good.
one other guy. I don't know what his name was, but I thought he looked like Orlando Bloom too.
Yeah,
know who
I
I'm talking
didn't
about,
watch those. They weren't
Paul?
that good.
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking
Yeah. He
All
looked like Orlando Bloom, but from Pirates of the Caribbean Orlando Bloom. But it
That's
wasn't
confusing.
Orlando Bloom. It was some other guy.
That just looked like him.
Yeah, it was weird.
All right, so we'll pit my Dark Knight against your Lord of the Rings in a battle of the ages.
Oh, I thought you were
All
talking
my
like
characters.
Batman versus Legolas.
No, all my characters fight all your characters, and we see who wins
Oh, mine would win.
because you have a bajillion orcs.
And a wizard.
I mean that's fair, but we have a Batmobile.
You do have a Batmobile. You could take out a lot of orcs with that Batmobile.
I know.
Maybe the whole orc army.
Well, that's it. That's it for today. Words of wisdom. Give it to him.
My words of wisdom. Don't watch bad movies. That's stupid. Why would you waste your time?
Amen to that, sister.
Unless you're laughing at them.
Oh yeah.
That's
Don't watch
fun.
Cats though.
No, yeah. Why would you watch?
That's awful.
Why did you watch Cats? Whoever you are who watched Cats who's listening to this,
Don't do it.
why'd you do that? Ridiculous.
Well, we love you. We're thankful for you. And remember, stay out.